we were outscoring opponents 80-33 in the third quarter, which probably has to do with some coaching.
We better be. No, yeah, that too. No, I would say the thing that you bring out of that game is just, again, what a great defensive performance, and then the ability to, do some things in special teams and offense in the second half. And obviously we would like that to happen sooner, but there's some pretty good opponents we're playing, and I think it's always important to give them credit because they're out recruiting great athletes and have great schemes. And I believe you saw two of the best, athletes in the league in Kavanaugh and McCaffrey, and they play well together. Unfortunately, McCaffrey went down with an injury, and I don't know the exact severity of it, but he's a great player. And I think Kavanaugh, as far as running an offense and running a football team, is as good as there is in our league. So to beat those guys, it was a big win. Special teams is great. Brody came in and hit a few that we really, really needed. The one right before halftime became very important with Jabin's excellent catch, and those were big plays for us that we really had to make because they were moving the ball. They went for it on fourth down. Ben Hughes had a tremendous tackle, and defensive had a great stand, and really that was kind of the key to the game if you really analyze each and every play. As far as going down to Flagstaff, that's always been a tough trip, but we do get to fly into Flagstaff, which really helps that trip, and we get to leave a little bit later than going down to Phoenix and then busing up the hill. But I know they'll be very, very prepared for us. They have four former Grizzlies on that staff. The head coach was here, I think, 12.238 years, and pretty good friend of mine, having grown up together since 6th grade. And I know, he'll have his guys ready. He'll have his staff working day in and day out on this one. It's also homecoming down there, so they'll have a great crowd. And, we need to have a great week of practice. I think that's very important that our players remain hungry. They have to remain hungry. The defense has been kind of like, I would say, like chicken soup. It's a feel-good situation where a lot of those guys are seniors, especially, the D-line and a couple linebackers, and it's kind of like a settling force to the younger guys that are playing, and maybe some of the offensive guys that, hey, everything's going to be all right. We've been here before, and, you don't always want to be in that situation. It'd be nice to be, a little more comfortable at halftime. I don't think we can say that all year, really. So that would be a nice emotion to have. But until that happens, we just got to keep fighting through it, and everybody doing their individual part of the big piece of the puzzle. Well, Zach Bauman, great running back out of Phoenix. Wish he was here. I really do. He had a great newcomer of the year last year. He had 127 yards against us last year as a true freshman, and that's in this stadium. That is very, very impressive. Their offensive line did a real nice job against us last year, and as we all know, that really came down to the last play of the game. CJ made a tremendous catch, to help us win that football game, and he also had a nice reverse to score a touchdown. And unfortunately, he's not with us on Saturdays because of his knee injury, which these games kind of bring back those memories of those players, and it's really sad because I think he was going to have a breakout senior year. I really do, and so you want to take that memory down with you, that positive of the things he did, and try to expand on it. Their quarterback is right up in the top of the country in efficiency ratings. A very good quarterback. Their receivers, I believe, are starting to take a little pressure off Bauman in the fact, the Montana State game. He didn't have a whole bunch of yards. I don't know if he got dinged a little bit in the second half, but they were able to throw the ball a little bit better than they had in the past as far as chunks downfield. And that allowed them to somewhat stay in that game for a while. So, you know, they have quite a few weapons. In stats, we're fairly similar in a lot of areas. We really are. If you go down the stat line, you know, yards per carry, points per game, all those types of things. So I think it's going to be another heck of a football game. They have more of a four-man true front. They haven't run the flex as much in the last couple seasons, but I know Jerome has his fingerprints all over, you know, psychology-wise and individual drills, all those things with the entire defense and with the secondary as well. You know, I like their nose guard number 90, who's actually doesn't always start, but he has the best motor of any D lineman I've seen that we faced in our league. Tremendous motor. He played last year as a true freshman. He's from Las Vegas, and he just has a tremendous motor. I mean, our centers and guards have to block him, you know, for the whole play. They cannot take a play off or get tired or anything because he's really, really good. I really like that player. Secondary-wise, they lost most of their secondary, a little bit like us, in the fact that they replaced 3.5, I guess you would say. One was a part-time starter last year, but so there's some new guys there. I think teams have been trying to take advantage of that situation, and I think that they're playing well enough now that it might not be that smart to try to take advantage, but they're playing pretty well. Well, you know, I think our challenge to our team is again, like I said earlier, we have to remain hungry. You know, there's not a team talented enough in this league that can exhale. There just isn't. I think the parity is too close. The injury factors come into play now this late in the season. Are you on the road? Are you at home? Now the weather conditions change. All those factors come into play, and we just have to, you know, stay the course and remain extremely hungry. And you know, that's our challenge. If we're not hungry and ready to really go hit somebody in the mouth, again, we don't want them to get on that airplane. They have to be ready to go. They have to be. Well, there was, you know, at the end of the game, there was 3 of our key players not there. You know, Dan Moore and Jabin wasn't, and Gerald Camp. Gerald probably could have played, you know, down the stretch if we really would have needed Gerald to go back in the game. And he gives us so many weapons in one body. You know, it's tough not to have him out on the field in some capacity, and maybe he doesn't play every single down, but he plays, you know, 3.5 different positions, and so that was a big loss. You know, Dan Moore will definitely not be with us on this trip, and that's tough because he's been a, you know, moral, you know, morale and moral both type of leader for our whole program, and you know, it's really sad that he's not going to be there. I don't know if there's anybody on the team that works as hard as he does in the off season and in the weight room, and you know, just a big time loss for us. You know, huge in our offense as far as the short yard situations and down in that red zone area, and you know, now we're down to, you know, 2 smaller running backs that are both doing very well, but they're different types of runners. So we brought Bo Donaldson over to help with some of that, and you know, he hasn't been with us very much, but I have a lot of confidence in him. You know, he played that position 2 years ago, and then again a little bit in spring ball. So he hasn't been with us full time. He'll be with us probably 90% of the time, and then with defense about 10 on the offense and defense about 10%, just to keep his mind sharp on that area as well. So and really don't know how Gerald and Jabin are going to be responding. I'm optimistic that they'll both be there and ready to go. Well, you know, Houston, he really, you know, when we played Sacramento State, I know Brody, you know, he thinks all the American cities look the same, you know. But we were in Sacramento, and Houston played a very good game in front of, you know, his family and friends. And sometimes that's hard because, you know, you always, as a coach, you worry about that distraction. But he has put 3.5 excellent games together. And, you know, if he can just stay focused and do what he's doing, you know, I'm very happy how he's playing. We talked last week. We actually walked down the tunnel a week ago Monday together, and he said, boy, Coach, I told him I thought he'd been playing excellent. And he says, well, man, I want to get a game ball someday. And he got our game ball for co-defensive player, him and Bobby Alt. So, you know, I want him to get more game balls. I want him to have that mentality. And True, you know, True's playing well, and he actually graded out better this game than he had in the last 3. So those are all good signs. And this quarterback is very, very capable of putting up a big night. So, you know, we have to shut those receivers down that, like I said earlier, their receivers are getting better every single week. Well, I think we're getting to know each other as a staff much better. I think it does take a while, and our personnel. You know, we had Chase Reynolds last year, and although he was hurt pretty bad all year, I really give him credit for playing those many games and pass protecting with that shoulder of his is incredible. And a testimony, he's with the Rams right now. So, you know, we didn't have Chase. So who is it going to be? Is it going to be by committee? Obviously it has been. You know, our receivers have to step up. Have we got the ball enough to the tight ends? All those types of questions that we had coming in that we're still answering. But I think knowing each other on the offensive staff better and knowing our personnel has really helped them make some of those adjustments.
Like you said, everyone did their job. You know, 111th, you know, the first half, they came out with some different stuff that we hadn't seen. You know, we were trying to make corrections on the sideline, and then once we got into halftime, Coach Presky dialed it up. You know, the assistant coaches did their job and told us what we needed to do, and we bought in, and the rest is history. You know, you know, you got to give credit to the corner setting the edge, the linebackers, the D-line. Everyone did what they were supposed to do and didn't do anything more than that. And it just fell in. You know, Josh Harris played excellent. You know, I mean, he played awesome. So did Bobby Alt, bringing the pressure. You know, they only threw 20 times, so getting 1 sack's pretty good out of a 20. Them throwing the ball only 20 times, and it's usually, you know, quick throws. You know, it wasn't really, you know, one-on-one pass coverage or pass blocking. So, what Coach Pflugrad does, you know, every day, we trained play 4 quarters. You know, and we knew it was only 2 quarters down. We still got 2 more left. You know, you can't panic. If you hit the panic button too early, that's when stuff's going bad. You know, we're on the sideline. You know, we're encouraging the offense. The offense is encouraging us. You know, everyone's going to do their job, and we're going to support everyone like that. And I just felt going into halftime we were fine. I mean, we were only down 11 points. I mean, that's a 2-possession game. That with our offense, they can score that points on anything. You know, and we just have to give them the 3 and out to give them the ball in good position and win the field position. And I think that's what we did in the second half. You know, we didn't win it so much in the first half, but that's why they play 4 quarters. So. You know, sometimes our back's against the wall, sometimes the offense. You can't point fingers at anybody. And, you know, it was our turn, and we did what we could, and we held them to 3 field goals and, 1 touchdown. You know, we hope to next time to not let them get that touchdown and keep it to 3 points, so it helps our offense out that much more. But right now, I feel like as a group, we're playing good. We're having a great practice today. You know, it's gonna be physical today, and so I'm excited. They're tough. I mean, you can't give them any. You know, you got to give them all the credit in the world. They're tough players. They come to play us every time, and you can't, like you said, exhale. You know, in this conference, everyone's going to come and play their best against everybody. So, I remember down there when it came to overtime, Shan got the interception. Tremaine tipped it last year. CJ's catch, and you know. During all those games, you never saw any of us quit. So that's hopefully that's what we want this weekend too.
Portland State was going to bring a lot of pressure, but I just wasn't really sure where they're going to bring it from. They had some pretty good schemes going there, but you know, I was confident in you know, our coaching staff and our players that we weren't going to let that one play get to us too much. You know, obviously it was pretty critical, but you know, we fought back, and all the credit to the guys and the coaching staff. I think it's at 6,900 feet elevation, so the ball just goes, and any kicker will tell you the same thing.
Are you hoping Coach maybe puts you out on a 60-yarder?
You know, I'm just gonna do my job, and if the situation calls, then I'll do my best.